There are secret magical codes in spiritual books such as the Bible and other ceremonial magical books. And do you think you need a teacher or a guide or someone to initiate you into these practices? Well, in this outtake from my conversation with Damien Echols, we discuss all about this. So stay tuned. I am your host here. My name is Tricia Carr. I'm a spiritual teacher, multidimensional medium, empathic channel, animal telepath, and I am a magician just like you. I'm working on alchemy. I hope you're working on alchemy too, because honestly, alchemy is magic, magic is alchemy. And the ancient alchemists who gave us the foray into what we understand now as ceremonial magic, they also were the forerunners for much of the sacred ritual that is in all of the major religions and in the non-religious spiritual practice that many of you may be seeking and engaged in, mysticism and metaphysics. In this outtake from my conversation with Damien Echols, over, 2 years ago, I think it was now, we talk about some of the magical coding that is in the Bible and how that relates to the cosmic intelligences of the stars and / meaning both and the archangelic energies and the angelic energies. Damien is a ceremonial magician, and he has written a few books, including High Magic, and that's what we're referencing in this particular video. So click below if you want to find out more about Damien, find his YouTube channel, which you may already know. That may be how you found this. And I would like to invite you to please like, subscribe, share, comment, and click the little bell so that you can get notifications for when I publish videos. And that helps to boost us in our light quotient. And it also helps us, you and me, to co-create together. But we start this conversation talking about whether you actually need a teacher, guru, or someone to initiate you into magic. And then we talk about how that can be beneficial, whether it's necessary or not, and how it can be beneficial. So stay tuned. Watch this little outtake. It's really dense with material. That's why I'm republishing it. And I'll see you on the other side. And when we say initiation, I see that as just personal and spiritual development before we start to practice magic. Or, maybe that is such as crossing the abyss, which you can talk to us about. You talk about that in the Angels and Archangels. And is it more advisable to have that kind of initiation, which is maybe more of a personal process? Or is magic only as effective as whatever that personal process is? And so it's not going to engage with the cosmic energies by the laws of how energy works, right? I don't know. What do you think?
Kind of, I really think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of all of that, just because a lot of these things, one of the reasons for initiation is sort of like you are having information passed to you from a lineage of people who have preserved this, sometimes all the way back to the dawn of human civilization. They have these keys to decipher this information. They have techniques that you're not going to find, in books or websites and things that are, just everywhere. So there is incredibly valuable things that you can obtain from a legitimate initiation into a magical lineage. But is it absolutely needed? I don't think it is at all. No, absolutely not. I think if you do the work, if you study the material, you will find whatever it is you need to find to fill in those gaps that you're missing.
Well, and the thing is, if you study the material, that is basically like an initiation process. It's someone else collected it. Some other master or decoder collected it together. And also, if you spend enough time in the material, then you will start connecting. You will be able to decode it yourself. Basically, you'll be connecting to the energy beneath it. Absolutely. Like you were saying, things are written in code, like the Bible's written in code. But I studied the Bible from the time I was 11. I got into underneath the code and started saying, wait, this church stuff doesn't make any sense to the thing that they say they are going by, at least.
Yes. That is absolutely true. What I'm referring to, I guess, about the things given to you, for me, for example, were things that I didn't find information on in other places. Like, for example, when you're talking about the 72 angels of the Shemhamphorash, or what they call in magic the Shem operation, just because it's such a mouthful to say that, and how that ties into things like, for example, you find the number 72 repeated over and over throughout. For example, in the Gospel of Luke, they say that Jesus has 72 disciples, or in the book of Abramelin the Mage, which is one of the big, most influential books in magic. That is, it's basically the process of how to come in contact, or how to attain the knowledge and conversation of the HGA, what they call the Holy Guardian Angel. It says in there that Abramelin at one point goes to give money to 72 poor people. You come across this number 72, and I it wouldn't have registered just because I had never seen anything explaining to me what is the significance of this 72. The only way that I found out about that was by coming in contact with, I was fortunate enough to come in contact with an order of practicing magicians and alchemists based in Europe, who had ties to some of, this material was a very deep foundational part of their practice. And it was like they gave me things that all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, why didn't I see that before? Or suddenly all this other stuff started falling into place that I never would have, well, I won't say I never would have been able to figure it out on my own, but they perhaps saved me 10 to 20 years of floundering around and struggling by giving me things that brought all of this stuff into perspective.
I love that, I fell in love with numerology again by studying the Bible when I was a kid, because when I was a kid, that was the only paradigm that I knew for spiritual development. I grew up in Texas, and my family didn't take me to church. I took myself to church. And so that was my paradigm. That was the way I knew to develop spiritually. But I love the numerology in the Bible, or numerology in all of the different sacred texts and traditions and rituals. And the 72 to me right off the bat, 7 is the number of spirituality, both inner and outer. 2 is the number of love. And then together they come to 9, which is about the harvest, which is the full maturity and humanitarianism and unity. And so that makes a lot of sense to me. I would love to, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say that usually 72, what we're doing with it in magic, like I said, all of this goes back to the stars. It's all based on the study of the stars. So, we have the 12 constellations of the zodiac, and there is an archangel, which is the intelligence behind all 12 of those constellations. Well, if you take a constellation of the zodiac, it can be split into 3 equal parts of 10 degrees. So each of those 10 degrees also has an intelligence that presides over it. So now you have the 12 constellations of the zodiac with their 12 intelligences. And if you split each one into 3 equal parts of 10 degrees, you have 36 more. So these 36 are the angels of the deacons. Well, if you take those 10 degrees and split them in half, you have 72, which are, further divisions of every constellation of the zodiac. And these 72 portions of the zodiac also have intelligences that preside over them. So when you're going through these invocation rituals and you're invoking all of these intelligences around you, you're doing several things simultaneously. You're interacting with this energy, you're absorbing it, but you are also on a very deep level triggering something in your psyche, because if you have just invoked every constellation and every deacon of the constellations and every, split them down into 72 portions, all around you, what you have just said to your consciousness is, I am the center of the universe.
Yes. What I think is really interesting about the traditions of magic is that the societies may be secret, that the text may be written in code, but it's not truly hidden. It's actually just your expansion, your interest, helping you to grow in wisdom in order to be able to find it. Now, that same wisdom, that frequency can magnetize you to a teacher who can save you time, as Damien said, that he came across teachers and alchemists who saved him some of that research time, but he had already done the attuning of his own energy to be able to get that sort of expedite through it by connecting with the alchemists and teachers. In fact, he raised his vibration to the point of being able to connect with them and to be able to even consume, absorb, and understand that which they gave him as the shortcut. And all of that is a direct parallel to your own spiritual exploration. the way that you are manifesting your life, the depths of your mind, your quantum mind, the cosmic mind, the super consciousness, and the subconsciousness. These layers are nuanced and deep, and nothing is actually hidden from you. In fact, when we are working with our shadow, the shadow is that part of ourself that we put away out of mind, and we've hidden it from ourselves so that it could heal, so that it could be kept secret from ourselves for just a while. But in fact, all we have to do is raise our vibration, go seek it, and that is actually what is in the shadow is actually the gold. The parallel is unmistakable, and it is really the demonstration of the Hermetic tenet of as above, so below, as within, so without. Well, I hope you enjoyed this outtake, this quantum rewind of Damien Echols and myself. And if you want to see the full length video, you can find the link below, and you can also see listen to it on podcast, I should say. Listen to it on the podcast. That is also linked below. Any way that you get your podcast, you can search this episode. It's number 194. And then I want to invite you to like, subscribe, share, comment, and click the little bell so that you can get notifications for other content like this. If you enjoyed it and you would like to talk about magic, leave a comment. And you know what? If you have a question you'd like me to cover on this channel or on my podcast, leave that in the comments as well. And with that, thanks for tuning in. I love you, whoever you are.